Private credit, probably one of the hottest segments of the real estate industry right now, or at least the most talked about. But it's not really new. 15 years ago, it was mostly called hard money lending. At that point in time, the real estate market was fairly distressed. There were lots of crazy deals that were out there, but they all needed to be turned around. That's where hard money lending came in, where you could bet on an operator that would expedite permitting, that they would solve the problems, and they would turn that deal around. There was not bank financing available at that time, so hard money lenders stepped in and provided that necessary capital. Fast forward now, and most of this is being called private credit. And it really encompasses a bunch of different factors that are happening in the real estate market. Either banks that have higher interest rates, so loans are a lot more expensive. Lending requirements have also tightened. There's not a lot of eagerness to go after distressed deals and turn them around from a lending standpoint, or deals that really need rescue capital where they have a traditional loan in place, something's happening, and they need an infusion of capital to turn the deal around. Whatever the reason, private credit is now the vehicle that is looking to solve that problem. On our end, we've seen this before, and our process has always been to focus on operations. We want to have a deep understanding of how the asset is operated, what works, and what doesn't. We want to be working with strong operators who can utilize capital quickly to achieve the value creation milestones. That's what we do in our business at Greenleaf, and if we're looking to extend debt, that's what we're looking to partner with. That's why we're excited about our next opportunity with Epitome Development out of Texas. We have a strong operator with a proven track record, a high growth market, and an attractive basis. These are critical for a successful deal, both the debt side, the equity side, and for the developer. We have Dharma joining us today. We're going to go into the details now of the Fortiva development just outside of Houston.
Welcome, Dharma. We're excited about talking about Fortiva with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the project?
Oh, thanks, Josh and Dave, for having me and the opportunity to present the project. It's a 200-acre site in a submarket of Houston called Needville. Needville is just kind of south of Rosenberg, which is south of Sugar Land. All of it in Fort Bend County. And Fort Bend County is one of the top, fastest growing counties in the United States. 58% lower than Texas average in terms of crime rates, lower cost of living in general, than, 4 or 5% lower than the national average. This site has generally no floodplain. Fort Bend County is, very pro-business, development friendly. The location of this deal is within, 20 to 30 miles proximity to a lot of employment, in Sugar Land with Methodist, the medical side, Schlumberger in oil, Texas Instruments, and Richmond and Rosenberg. Rosenberg's the very next subdivision, just north of Needville. You have an Amazon fulfillment center in Richmond. You have a Frito-Lay manufacturing facility, another Oak Bend Medical Center, which employs about up to 5,000 people, and then you have Stafford in Missouri City. It's about 30 minutes away. And it's a major distribution center for UPS and Houston Community College. So surrounded by a lot of employment in a very strong county, about 45 minutes from downtown Houston.
Yeah, strong county, I think, is a little bit of an understatement.
Yeah, we started investing on the idea of, not that it's innovative or anything crazy, but like just invest where people are moving to. And then, you don't have to be perfect. But as long as you're directionally correct, you'll do pretty well. And Fort Bend it's insane. It's gone from 50,000 people in the 80s to over 1 million people. And just the growth curve will put up here just parabolic. It's doing incredibly well. So that's exciting to see. We love and looking at ways we can invest in those type of markets.
Yeah, so the housing development, so it's 200 acres, and you plan to build 650 lots onto it. Based on the layout we have, there's a kind of a community center, maybe a pond in the middle. You want to tell us a little bit more about the layout and amenities?
Yeah, in general, most of these subdivisions we go through what we call a drainage impact analysis, a DIA, with the county, and that allows us to determine the flow of the drainage and how much we are expected to set aside for a detention pond in case of a flooding or a heavy rain, and detention ponds are at the front and center of most developments in the Houston area. So, we've spent a lot of time over the last year that we have had this under contract to assess the the topography of the site and how it drains. And that's why you see us, on the site plan, there's a sliver or a finger that runs outside the parcel. And that has also been by design to be able to drain the water into the detention ponds based on the natural slopes of the site. And net of that, we're able to, achieve about 650 single family lots. And those are between the sizes of, 6,000 and, 5,500 and 6,000 feet, which, we go by front feet. So it's 45 by 120 feet and 50 by 120 feet. And it's a fairly even split between these two types of configuration of lots. Usually this is what we call a two builder deal, meaning we would have two builders. In this case, we've identified, and we're going under contract with Brightline Homes, as a well-known home builder. We've accepted, we're working actively and negotiating with another home builder who's actually Atlanta-based, McKinley Homes, on this deal. So these are the two home builders that will go into this subdivision. We're already starting to work, forward contracts and things of that sort. Yeah.
And is there any floodplain on the site?
There's a sliver. There's a very small amount. It's a fairly clean site, but there's a small amount of floodplain. Very small amount. And we have a space allocated for a wastewater treatment plant and a water plant. And generally, the way that works is that we have a water plant that's either we get water from the city or we build our own water plant, and we get a permit from the TCEQ, which is a public water supply permit, and then a discharge permit from the TCEQ as well, both which are in progress at the moment. And we partner with a company called Quadwest here that's already doing utilities. It's a utility company in the local area, and we're already determined an amount for this partnership. And all that does is it reduces the upfront outlay for us for these utility facilities.
So how long do you think this process is going to take overall on the deal?
So I think the total entitlement process is expected to take about 12 to 18 months as a normal entitlement phase for us. In this deal, we've already spent about a year on this. There's a chance we might accelerate some of these items. We're hoping to shoot for a 1 year to turn dirt, break ground, but it's very well possible that it leads into the first quarter of 2027. But that's kind of what it looks like.
And the utility, Texas is unique in the fact that it's got the utility component where either you can build it or you can partner with someone to build it with the city. So have you decided on that front, or that's still up in the air based on kind of what the terms look like and how all gets mapped out?
We very much decided on that part. We looked at the option of building it on our own, and we've done that in other places. We're doing that currently in other places, including the other deal that Greenleaf is also participating in, which is Waller University Oaks. We're actually building a wastewater treatment plant there, and here it just so happens that Quadwest was the utility provider. There's a few other subdivisions around the area, and they're already trying to do a cost share. It just makes it more effective to where you don't have to come out of pocket with all this money up front and then wait to get it back in terms of the municipal utility district reimbursements. So it's a lesser outlay up front, and you're able to still work on, it's just cost of capital type of a deal, right? So if you have an opportunity to partner and reduce your outlay up front, it's probably the way to go.
It's got to be a little bit faster too. It's already up and running and connected. It is easier than building from scratch.
Yeah, it still has to be built, but at the same time, when a utility provider is partnering with you to do that, and this is what they do day in and day out, it's likely to be faster because there's economies of scale. There's plants that they can repurpose, and most likely might not have to do a build from scratch for the plant.
Yeah. So is on the exit side of the deal, right? You get all the horizontal stuff permitted and ready to go. Are you selling the whole parcel to the home builders, or are they taking it down like one parcel at a time in that
There
process?
will be a takedown schedule, and the takedown schedule is usually, we would do this, and they would take, it's based on the pace at which they're able to sell the home. So, the absorption of when they're able to sell, the pace at which they're selling the houses in the market is the pace at which they usually, we crank that up a little bit more. So they end up taking about, 10 lots a month type of a deal, is what it ends up averaging to, 10 to 15 lots a month, depending on how we negotiate it. And we split that between the two builders. And so at that pace, typically, we're able to get through this in about, 3 to 4 years. 3 years after you put it on the ground, and it takes you about a year before you put the first phase on the ground. So that's what makes the entire deal usually about 4.5 years is the life cycle of the deal from start to finish from a development standpoint.
Yeah.
And of course, Greenleaf right now, I know, and all our other deals is purely from an entitlement standpoint and not from a development standpoint. But that's what a typical development life cycle is.
When did you first get your eyes on this property?
About a year and something ago. I'd like to say early 24 or mid 20, early to mid 24. We were driving around in the area and we were looking for. We actually were at one of our customers' subdivisions looking at a product type that they had asked us to look at for one of our other subdivisions. And, we felt there was a lot of promise in the market because our two main people, Stephen Tinen and Mike Hughes, have been in this market for almost a decade now. They did one of the first few subdivisions in Needville close to 10 years ago. Who was, Stephen is our SVP of land, who you guys have met, and Mike is our director of land, and will be the project manager on this deal. They used to be with K-Habnani and K-Hab, which I also think is a Georgia-based company, if I'm not wrong. But with K-Hab, they had done several subdivisions in the area. So, we know the county real well. We knew the area well, and this deal was on the market. Off market, but with a broker presented to us. Yeah. A balance of price on the land as low as what we got it for, with sub $1 a foot land combined with 1650 is the contract that we have right now with Brightland on a front foot basis, which is roughly about 75,000 a lot. The combination of those two is a very good combination from a margin standpoint. Because finding cheap land that works is a challenge. Finding cheap land is possible all day long in different parts.
Cheap land that doesn't work is probably readily available.
It's all over the place. It's got floodplain. It's got stuff that doesn't drain. It's got, the density doesn't work, or the city's involved. And that's the other good thing here is that we're not in any city's boundary. We're not in the city of Needville. We're only in the county. So if you're in the city and the county, you're beholden to both their rules and regulations. Or even if you're in the ETJ, you still have to work with their city. Here, it's just the county. So county-only deals are easier because it's one less variable, it's one less party to deal with.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
And what exit price are the builders looking to basically build to and exit at?
These homes would be in the mid threes, low to mid threes. So they'll probably start. And it's hard to say. They might start in the really high twos. 290, 295. But then they'll probably, by the time they end up, they're probably in the high threes. So over a 4-year period, they're going to escalate their price. And as we know, it's all dependent on market conditions and what it feels like at that point in time. We generally have an 8% escalator built into our lot price. So we'll start at 1650 a front foot, multiply by 40, 45, and 50. So that, for the 45s, it's roughly 77, 78,000, and then goes to 85,000 or so. But we escalate that 8% year on year after the first stage. So by the time we get down, to it, we're probably at 1,800, 1,850, right, a front foot. And usually the lots are 20% to 25% of the value of the house. So, if it's a $350,000 house, 20% is about $70,000, right? That's usually the rule of thumb is 20 to 25%. And this is fairly common across the country in terms of this percentage. Of the value.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So we're basically getting involved here at basically the post acquisition through entitlement phase.
That's right.
Really over the initial 18 to 24 months. Once it's entitled, you'll basically reassess the project to look to recapitalize it from going from it's fully entitled for 650 lots. Now you're going to start putting roads in, put utilities in. That's really the horizontal development.
Yes.
And then once horizontal development is done is when you start selling off the paper lots to the builders. So it's really
not paper lots. When the horizontal development's done, we can sell the finished lots. Now, paper lots is when we are fully entitled. But the end of the phase that Greenleaf is lending us for would be paper lots.
I got it. Okay.
So paper lots would be valued on this deal at around 12 to 13 million bucks. And by the time our land acquisition and carry and entitlement spend, we're probably at 9 to 9.5 million bucks. So we probably have a $2.5 million buffer in there, $2.5 to $3.5 million buffer in there, from, land acquisition to entitlement. So that's kind of that's the margin of safety, or even, gives us the option. Like right now on the other deal, on the Waller deal, we got an offer of 12.4 million. We're 9.5 all in. And so very, very similar deal size. That's 620 lots. This is 650 lots. And, we acquired that for a similar number a year and something ago. It's fully entitled now, and we just got an offer. It's the question is, do we take that and, or do we, take it the whole way through? It's time value of money plus what you want to do strategically, plus, do you really want to be in the business of flipping paper lots, or do you want to start going and developing? But it's great to have the option to be able to exit and have a real buyer. Housing, this type of housing, every 3 years is a 10-minute rule in Houston. Every 3 years, you're generally a $300,000 home has become $350 in 3 years, and generally speaking, subtracting anomalies. But and then people want to go 10 minutes out to find the next $300,000 home. So that's generally how this suburbia develops, and that's kind of how Needville is. We look at Needville too. So.
Yeah, so that paper lot, I mean, it's interesting. There's just a different defined exit off points. As we look at these from an investment standpoint, as you look at them from a building process, I think a lot of people look at it just, hey, a home is getting built and that's great, but it's really the land acquisition, the whole entitlement process, and actually getting the horizontal and then the vertical done. So 4 distinct pieces. So we're really coming into the second part of it.
Right. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Armand. We're super excited about this deal. It's awesome that you share all the details with us. And we're going to get this thing moving.
Yeah. Thank you, Dharma.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
That was helpful insight on what this deal looks like. When we go into the terms of how these debt deals work, again, this is a single purpose entity. It's not rolled into other assets. It's its own piece of preferred debt. And right now we're looking at a format where we have a current pay interest rate and basically a kicker at the end of the deal.
Yeah, so the current pay will be 9% annually, or we'll pay out every month 0.75% to investors. And the kicker at the end we'll accumulate 4% a year. So it's actually a 13% loan with a 9% current, additional 4%, and the term is 2 years. So we're getting involved really early on with Dharma on the acquisition of this property, and we'll take it all the way through horizontal development. We'll stop when horizontal development begins, which should be done in about 18 to 24 months from now.
Yeah, and the paper process was targeting 12 to 18 months. That's basically how can you get through all the entitlement stuff, get that done in 12 to 18 months, and then get into getting the lots made and sold to the home builder, which could happen at different phases as those offers come in. It really fits how is a home builder planning their schedule of what they're doing. So it's a little bit of a staggered exit. If we go direct to home builder, or he has the option to just recapitalize the whole deal or sell the whole deal, at which point we'd be paid off at a single point in time.
Right. But our agreement with him is 2 years. At the end of 2 years, our note balloons, and we would get paid off at that point.
Yeah, and if they're not making progress of payment, they got to recapitalize the deal.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so to recap the investment opportunity that we're looking at here, we're in a very fast-growing county, which is Fort Bend County in Texas. We're excited about the opportunity to be really in the way of growth. That's something we're always looking for in investment strategy. We're getting current pay interest rate on this deal. We have a shorter time horizon of only 2 years, and then we get a 4% bump on the back end. So we're very excited about doing another deal with Epitome. This will be our 4th deal that we've done with them, and overall it's our 11th really private debt deal that we've done in the past 2 years. So we're excited about the opportunity.
He's delivered excellently on the other 3, and we get going.
Yep. Let's go.